This is Karen. I'm with Inspired by Graham, and this is my very first actual morning live. I've always done them in the evening time, so I thought I would come on in the morning to see how it goes. So I can see I'm totally out of view here. So I got my morning beverage here. It's my coffee. So let me get that out of the way. You don't need to see that. You can see my laptop, so I gotta figure out, I'm still learning my desk here. I got a new desk. It's a stand-up desk, and it's electrical, so I can sit down or stand up, whatever I want. So today I'm going to be stamping seated, so we'll see how that goes. I'm still working with my lighting, so I can see I've got a little bit of shadows going, but just bear with me because I'm still learning all of this stuff here. So I'm going to go over my November card club. First, I'll go through what card club generally looks like on a monthly basis. And then I'm going to go through November, and then we're going to make all 4 cards. So if you have any questions whatsoever, write them in the comments. I see Carla's on here. How's it going, Carla? So I'm gonna probably need to zoom in because usually I don't see my desk area. So let me try to do that without screwing up anything. And sometimes I can't do it with my phone. It's like it's all the way zoomed for some reason. So I might have to. Oh, there we go. I was going the wrong way. I think that's, let me know if that's good. I think that's where I'm going to go, but I'm still getting a little bit of shadow up at the top. So good morning, Denise. How are you? Okay, so let's go over last month's, and then we'll go over November, and then we'll make the cards. Get your coffee, whatever you drink. What's your favorite coffee? Let us know. I've got my Green Mountain coffee. It's cold now. It's almost done. Breakfast blend. I like the Vermont Country, I think it's called. I like the mild kind because anything more than that, once in a while I can go to the medium, but my stomach likes the mild kind. So, all right, card club. So I'll talk about it throughout the video, but I'm gonna show you what is included. And some of you watching are already in my card club, so you know what you get. Okay, so we usually work with a stamp set or a bundle. And I've been trying to let people know ahead of time what we're working with. And it's sometimes kind of hard to do that because of inventory. So a lot of times bundles are on back order, what have you. So I make Card Club easy enough so that you can use whatever stamp set that you have in your craft room. Even though you might want to be working with this one, you do have the opportunity to work with whatever stamp set you have in your craft room. So I make it definitely easy. So every month it comes in a cello bag. Usually there's a cardboard piece here that protects it. This is an extra kit from October, so it is for sale. It's $39, and that includes shipping. If anybody would like to order it, just email me. But let me just open it up real quick. Sorry about all the noise, but you know, cello makes a lot of noise. All right, so we've got, I like to keep these. So anyway, in here, depending on the month, I try to, you'll have $20 worth of Stampin' Up! Products in your package, at least. A lot of times I will go over 20 because, you know, it's really hard to hit $20 every month. I'll never go under 20. And this month I'm changing it up. So if you're watching, I know a couple members are, let me know if you're going to like this or not. It is going to come out this way this month, but I thought it would be a good opportunity for you guys that may like it. So I'll tell you in a minute. All right. So every month you'll have written instructions. I include these in the shipment. Okay. Because I don't want you using your toner. Let me print it out for you in the paper. It does come printed two-sided in color. And lately I have been putting on here the coordinating colors of the designer series paper, so you know what colors go with it. And then if you turn over, we'll have card 1, 2, 3, and 4. Once in a while, I'll have card 5, but generally speaking, it's 4 cards. You have 2 kits for every card, so you'll have 8 cards that you'll make every single month. And I always suggest that you make card number 1, both of them at the same time. That way you're not, fiddling through everything. Everything I'll show you comes in a cello bag, so it's very organized for you. So I provide a supply list, measurements of your paper, and your instructions on your DSP cutting, stamping, and assembly. Anything in red up here is what you need to cut from your DSP. I do not cut the DSP. Back in the day I did, when I had only like 1 or 2 customers, but that had to change because I quickly grew, and it just didn't make sense for me to do that. So now I cut the DSP in half, the full pack. And if it's a 12 by 12 pack, I cut it in half, so you'll receive a 6 by 12 pack. If it's 6 by 6, it's either, depending on the cost, it'll be half a pack or full pack. I'd like to send a full pack because it's less labor intensive on my side. So that's what you'll get. Usually there's an embellishment of some sort and some ribbon. So you can see each page has a little, here we go with what you need. I always say cut DSP as listed above. Paper may be directional because that's very important. Also, I don't cut it anymore because you may want to use a pattern of DSP that you like more than, I like, and that's perfectly fine to do that. Once in a while, I'll say, don't forget you need to, if we're working with photopolymer stamp sets like we are today, I will put, you use a Stampin' Purist mat as a reminder. You need to do that to get a better image. All right, so then here we go with this. Up here, sometimes, like, see here, it says Delightful Floral DSP, Fussy Cut Flower from DSP, front side. So it's going to be on the front side. And then on the inside of the card, you'll have another cut flower from the DSP. And then on the back side, I provide a list of all of the Stampin' Up! Products that are featured in the monthly card club. So once in a while, it might be a retired punch, but instead of die cutting circles, and I mean lots and lots of circles, if it's a 1.5 inch circle, I might get out the circle punch because it's less labor intensive on my side. But anyway, this would be all the Stampin' Up! Products that you would be using if you had all these supplies in your craft room. All right, so any questions, let me know on that as I go through. So that would be the instruction sheet. So in this particular card club for October, we are featuring the Delightful Floral Designer Series paper and Very Best Occasion stamp set. I didn't pull that one from my bookcase, but it's just a sentiment stamp set. And so, excuse me, here is the paper. It's 6 by 12. And on the back side, there's always the cardboard here. And see, this is why I've been doing card club for so long. This gets cut off. So you don't know the coordinating colors unless you look it up on the Stampin' Up! Website. So that's why I've been just adding these. So that is something new with my card club. So 6 by 12. Then we received, you received a half a bolt of the glittered organdy ribbon. So some people received it, I had to break it down, so I split the bolt in half, the original one. And then this customer would gotten it on the bolt itself, and the other customer who shared this bolt received it in a cello bag with a label stating what it was. Okay, so that's the only way I can do that because I don't have all those little like cardboard ribbon holders. And then I always include a tag. Those are super fun. One of my customers, she has used her tags. She's been in Card Club for, I don't know, probably from its inception back in 2021, I think. So she's starting to use these tags on card fronts, and she showed me a few, and I thought that was pretty cool. Inside here is a thank you for your order, and then on the front side, you've got my email address. And on the back side, you'll have all the information about how to get in touch with me if you have any kind of questions or concerns, or, you know, hey, I want another one of these kits or what have you, or I would like to place an order with you. And you can just actually scan that with your phone and it'll go right to my website. All right, so I was just reading your comment, Denise. Oh, pretty paper. You have this. You better open it. All right. So anyway, let's see. This is the 4-pack. These are so fun. Tinsel gems. They're either 3 or 4 colors. This is the 4-pack. So you can't see the other color up here because it's hidden by the cardboard here. But these are super fun to use. I love the colors in them. And once in a while, the colors may not coordinate. Like, say this is shaded spruce. There might not be shaded spruce in the paper, but it will, if I'm using it, it's close enough and it will coordinate. So I love how Stampin' Up! Does great color coordination. Last month, I included in the pricing of the $20, I had 2 sheets of Stampin' Dimensionals, because in this class, you use a lot of dimensionals. So I didn't want you to run out if you didn't have any in your craft room. And then here are how the kits are sent to you. So card number 1 is in its separate envelope, the cello envelope. I'll open just one of these very carefully because I can still sell this one here. So we've got 2 in here. I'll only open 1. So we'll open it up. The only thing in here is missing is the designer series paper. So you can you can pick out whatever pattern you want, but here is your Blackberry Bliss cardstock, your big card base, and then here is the stamping die cut, and then for instance, this is your, no, this is the one you stamp on, I think it is. I think I'd remember. Yeah, I think. Yes, we use this one for mounting of flowers. And then this was the one to stamp on. So that's how you would get it. And sometimes this card doesn't have a lot of pieces. Some cards will have maybe up to 7 pieces, depending on however I design. So today's class, you will see that some of my cards do have more pieces than others. All right, so let me just put this back here. And then here's the belly band. Let me just take that off really quick. I belly band them all up because I don't want them all loose and, maybe getting wrecked in the mailing, because sometimes mailing just doesn't, your package gets, tossed around. So here's card number 2, and then 3 and 4. So you can see how I label them. I'll say what it is. October 23 Card Club, designed by Sharon McNall, card number 2. And then card number 3 and card number 4, so that you don't get confused as to what is in or not in the package. So that keeps you organized. And then you get the instructions. I also do private videos step by step, so you have this. And a lot of times on the videos I might change up the cards and use different designer series paper so that you can see how it all, you know, can look differently, and sometimes it's much different than what I've originally designed. Oops, see, I've got some vellum in here that actually goes with one of those cards, so let me just, I don't want to lose it, so I'm just going to sneak it in this one here. I'll fix it later. So I do have some leftover card club. I usually make one extra one every single month. So if you're interested in any of my past card clubs, or if you're looking for something in particular that used a certain designer series paper that you may have really liked, let me know and I can see if I have it. Okay, so we're gonna get started. Let's see what is in November's club. All right, so for November's club, I am including a half a bolt of the white and silver sheer ribbon. Now this is on back order. It is coming the week of November 20th. And November 20th, the 20th of the month is the day of the month, the 20th, that card club does close out. So card club might be a little like day or two late this month just because I'm waiting for this ribbon. Now, if this ribbon goes on too long, I'm going to switch it up to the iridescent ribbon. And if that's on back order, then don't worry about it. We'll find a ribbon that's going to work. So that's why Stampin' Up's coordination is just top notch. So half a bolt of the silver and white sheer ribbon. And this is a half, I think it's a half an inch, or is it 3/8? Let's see. It's half of an inch, and I'll be using this. It's great. Rhinestone Basic Jewels, you'll get a whole package of these, and you can color these in with your Stampin' Blends markers because they're alcohol-based markers. So you can coordinate any Stampin' Up color using embellishment using basic rhinestones. And I love these. They are the least expensive embellishment in our annual catalog, but I think they're the best all around because you can color them. And I use them a ton. Now here's the DSP, and let's see. Hold on just a second. Winter Meadow. Make sure I get it all correct. Winter Meadows Designer Series paper. So this is 1/2 of the 12 by 12. So this person is going to be getting this side of the paper. So there's 2 sheets of every single pattern. So the front side is floral and the back side is like, reminds me of a window that's all frosted up. Even though it's got that blue misty moonlight kind of night of navy, it still reminds me of that. So there's 2 sheets. This one has the deer prints on it, and that's super fun. I found that this particular design is really great for masculine cards. I've used it for birthday cards. It's also good for just get well as well. So, and on the back side, that looks like kind of a stormy sky, but I'm going to show you how I stamped on this one because this is one of the designs I used. It's the last one, card number 4. And then I really like this one. It's just a forest of snow and evergreen trees, Christmas trees. So, and I do really like that one. This is another pattern I've chosen. And then we also will be using this one. It uses Blueberry Bushel, which is a blue color that I normally don't use too much. And then this is kind of what Blueberry Bushel looks like. It's a very bright blue color. And then this one here is like a pretty peacock tree pattern. Now I did not use this pattern, but I'll probably use this pattern for the tag that's going to go on the front because I try to use every single pattern in our monthly card club. And then on the back side is that one here. So those are all the patterns that are in this month's club. I don't know what I'm going to be using for December because that's the hardest month to design for, because we're all done. We're all done creating Christmas cards, because you won't receive December's until the end of the month. So most likely it's going to be birthday cards because we're starting a new year, but we'll see. It all depends on inventory, right? That big I word, inventory. All right, so you've got your rhinestones, you've got your ribbon, which is half a bolt, and that only brought it to about, I don't know, my cheat sheet over there is my notes, I think like $16 or $18. So I still had a couple dollars to work with. So for going future, I might be always reducing my ribbon down to half a bolt. So now it gives me some money to work with. So what I did was I can include 8 sheets of cardstock. And this was perfect for the amount of colors that are in this designer series paper, because you're going to get a sampling between the cards that you're making and what's left for colors as in your card kit for this, or card kits for this month. So we are using basic black in one of the panels, but you're going to have a full sheet of basic black, garden green, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve, Pebbled Path, Shaded Spruce, and Smoky Slate. So those are all, you're going to get 1 sheet of each. So that's 8 sheets of cardstock. So let me know if you like that idea. If I know that if some of you watching are in my monthly card club, so it's something new. And so if I reduce the ribbon down by half a bolt, because I know we all have lots of ribbon, and do we use it all? I'm not really sure. I really can't cut these in half because that's too much time, and a lot of times these embellishments will pop off, so that's too hard. So the only way I can cut back is on the ribbon, so I would reduce it down by half, and then I can include more cardstock. Okay, love the cardstock idea. Sweet. Okay, that's what I thought. I thought that, you know what, this is a great idea. I don't know what it's going to do with postage right now for cost of postage. So we'll have to see about that. But for this month, I'm going to try it. What the heck, right? Okay, so we are going to start. This month I'm using the Christmas Classics stamp set and the dies. Now, I used I used every single sentiment in this one, and I used this little spray here. I did not use these over here just because, I don't know, I didn't, but you can. Actually, I did not use some of these words over here, but I probably used 90% of these stamps here. It's a photopolymer stamp, and that's one thing I didn't bring with me over here is my piercing mat, which I can grab. And the dies that I used were just 2 of them right now. Were this one here. I die cut this in vellum. And then this one here is going to be die cut in white for your stamping. And these 2 go together. But in the future, most likely, I will be using this one here. And I like how this one goes too. So these 2 go together. And then you have, for foliage from this one, you have this holly leaf, and then you have these 2 over here. Now with the designs that I made, card designs I made, I really couldn't put any of these in there because the DSP is really busy anyway with all that foliage and berries and such. So that's why I didn't use them. But these are great for Christmas, and you can use these foliage ones for, 12 months of the year. All of these actually can be used all throughout the year. Now, I didn't try these, so I actually don't even know what these do, but I think they just will do a design in like if you cut out like a 4 by 5 1/4 piece, or it's like an embellished piece of cardstock that's with all these little things in there. And if I'm die cutting this thing 100 times, well, that's a little difficult to do and very time consuming. So those are the things that I really can't do for Card Club because they're just too labor intensive. So, and then you've got some die cuts here that will cut out the berries. There's a stamp that has the berries and the leaves and the spray here. So anyway, that is the one that we're going to be using. So we're going to get started. The cards that we are making here, let me just show you. Last night I did proof my instructions. I'm so proud of myself. I am so far ahead on this card club. I already have my instructions done and proofed. I just need to add the supply list. I do that last just in case I forgot something. But I know you can't see all the cards, but the first card we're going to be making will be this one. It's Peace on Earth. And so this is my like kind of sample card that I used to design. And then this is my testing card. So I always have two because you're going to make two. All right. And then a lot of times I might flip over or use a different design so you can see what it would look like with some other piece of paper. So anyway, this is card number one that we'll be making. And I love the Stampin' Up! Magnet boards. I have 4 of them and I hang them on my wall for all of my upcoming classes so I can see what's ahead of me. And if they're empty, that means I need to get designing. So I have one empty board that I have to design for. And that's going to be for my Parks and Rec class on the 29th of this month, and actually my independent living class as well. This is the last card we're going to be making. It is with a deer, and I'm going to show you a trick on this one. I don't know if you can see or not because we're using vellum, but this is the full piece of the die that is die cut in vellum. And notice I put all those little rhinestones where those berries would be. But the deer placement is very tricky with this. Okay, so if the deer is on this side, it works perfectly. But if the deer is on the left side, it doesn't work as well because of this placement. So what I had to do, and it's still going over the edge a little bit, is I had to cut off part of the vellum here because it stuck way over. And if I brought this down, then it was going to cover up the deer, no matter how I cut the paper. And I didn't want to waste the paper. So and I didn't want to cover this up. So that's what I did. I just cut it right off and I left a little bit up here and it works perfectly. Okay, so I'm not sure what piece of vellum I have with you today because I cut 2 kits. And then I love how this one flows. So you've got the front, then you got the inside, and then this one, on my other sample, you can put a deer on here. And then this is how I stamped the flap. I put the DSP, the backside of this pattern, on the flap, and I stamped Season's Greeting and Pebbled Path. So that's card number 4. And then card number, I don't know, it's 2 or 3. I don't remember which one is which. This one's really pretty. It's got lots. So this one has a lot of die cuts in it. So there's 3 right here with the foliage in that like floral arrangement. And then there's a piece of pretty peacock strip under there. Now this one, you can see I changed it. So this was my original design where I put the ribbon underneath the scallop contours die cut. I didn't like that because I felt like, and my ribbon's like really not, it's very loose. I didn't like it because I wanted to see the ribbon. So what I did on the testing card is I put the ribbon on top and then I moved the sentiment way over to the right side. So I had a lot of white space to use. And then, so I put the ribbon over top, and then the foliage worked really well right here. I did color the rhinestones with Moody Mauve, and see how that looks really nice. So you can kind of, I think you can kind of see the difference on how that ribbon flows going over top of the white scallop contours. So, and then on the inside, I don't remember, I think it's just a DSP and some stamping. For Christmas cards, I tend to stamp a message on the inside. I think Christmas cards for some reason have that extra touch rather than being basic. And then here we've got the Deck the Halls card. This is my draft, or whatever you want to call it. This one's really sparkly. It uses the, what is that called? Christmas, what is it? Snowflake Magic Specialty DSP up here, which I embossed with a Distress Tile 3D. Oh my gosh, that, if you have this paper, try, and you have that embossing folder, try embossing it, or any kind of floral. It's got to be something that's kind of like floral or some kind of pattern, not something really tiny like the basics. It's got to be something floral. Try it with just a strip and you're going to love how it turns out. And then on the inside, I used the Striking Radiating Stitches dies, which are my favorite now. Okay, so we're going to get started. I took a little bit of time just kind of explaining everything. It's $39 right now a month. On January 24, I am going to be upping the price, but if you are already in Card Club, or if you join in November or December, you're going to be grandfathered in. Some people are grandfathered in at the $35 price. That's where I began, but prices have just jumped up, so I have to be able to at least break even. All right, so $39 right now, but it will be going up in price. I'm not sure yet exactly how much, but it will go up. All right, so card number 1, and let me grab it off the board, is that Peace on Earth. Beautiful. Okay, and I gotta grab my Stampin' Pierce mat just a second. And 3 things. You think now I got 3 more things, 4 more things, 5, and I'm losing all of my working space because I have all this stuff I just brought in, but we'll see if I can work a little bit efficient. So I got my silicone craft sheet, and then I've got my piercing mat here, and it says happy retirement. My Wednesday worker Debbie was here, and she was doing a bunch of cards for me. So she was working on a retirement card. I'm using the Stampin' Scrub because some of the sentiments we're going to be using twice. So I'm going to prep that with my spray here. I love the smell of their Stampin' Mist. It smells so good. Okay, so I've got that already. I'm going to put that up on my shelf here. Okay, so I've got all the pieces cut ahead of time, so that would save some time. And basically, I got to stamp and assemble. So I'm going to try to get rid of some of these pieces, little pieces first, and then stamp. So I'm just going to burnish that card. It's a 5.5 by 8.5 piece that's scored at 4 1/4. Oh, Mr. UPS is here. Man, is he early? No, 10:30. He's not bringing me Stampin' Up today. He's bringing me oatmeal. I bought oatmeal on Amazon because it's like $1.50 cheaper in bulk than it was at the grocery store. And you know, I have to save money somewhere. And if I'm gonna save $1.50, I'm gonna do it, right? I have to. Grocery shopping like stresses me out because it's so expensive. So I have my husband actually go grocery shopping because I can't do it. And if I can find a bargain online, I'm gonna go for it. Okay, so we're gonna add our adhesive. I'm using liquid glue. I'm like a 90% liquid glue person. And give that beautiful misty moonlight mountain scene. Even though those, in true life, those trees are green. We're gonna work with blue trees today and a hint of blue snow. But you can see it better. If that was all white, then you wouldn't be able to see it. And it's got splattered snow kind of going down. I'm gonna prep this first with our dimensionals because it's easier for me. And I mentioned that in the directions. So I'm gonna put 5 on here. I don't tell you how many dimensionals to add because that's your preference. Some people will like put tons of them on. Some may put 4. I usually will put 5. And I also prep them, meaning I take the backings off right now because I'm gonna use that silicone craft sheet. And that will protect my surface and the dimensionals don't stick to it permanently. Okay, our next step is to wrap the ribbon around this panel here and then tie a bow at the top. So we're gonna take that ribbon that we have right here. And again, it's 1/2 inch and I'm gonna probably struggle tying a bow, but I'm gonna try my best to do it. So I got it wrapped around. Just want to make sure it's flat. Oh, he's already gone. Boy, he's quick. A couple weeks ago, he came every single day. A couple weeks ago with Stampin' Up! Orders. Every single day I had a Stampin' Up! Order came to my house. So I got out there before he came. Of course, it got wet because we had a sudden like downpour of rain. But I got him a bag of greeting cards and some other things that I had made. So it was really funny because he knows that I'm home working. And Debbie was here too, and I was peeking out my window, and he waved to us because he knew I was peeking out. He's so funny. But I appreciate my UPS man. Okay, back to my card making. Okay, so I put the panel on here, and you notice that I can still move that ribbon back and forth. So I'm going to figure out how much ribbon I need. I'm going to try to keep it on the bolt. That way I don't waste too much. And I also want that bow to be at the top. Oh, and I got this backwards. Shoot. All right, so I'm going to have to cut this. All right, I'm going to grab my ribbon scissors here. I'll probably have to cut this down. And I'm going to have to use my tweezers on this. I watched a demonstrator do this bow making because you guys know I struggle. So I watched her do it. She didn't use tweezers, but this is where I kind of struggle and lose it. So I'm going to use tweezers. And then she showed us how to do this bow to make it perfect. And I'm still working on it. But if I remember correctly, she said to go up on this loop here, and then you take you have to make sure that oops, this is not tight enough. Hold on. Okay, I don't want to pull on the panels. Okay. Oops. Oops. All right, so I'm grabbing my tweezers. So she said, and maybe you guys already know this, but she said, make sure your tails are this way. And then you take this loop here and you bring it up. I think it's this way. Or is it that way? I'm probably going to get it wrong. I'll try this way. And then you take this and go around the opposite way than normal. And then you push it through. And then you pull tight the loops. And then I'm going to release that. I'm going to turn it around. And then I'm just gonna fuss with it. And now I have, oops, well, it's not too bad. I was trying to get my tails down on the both sides is what I was trying to do. And I didn't quite do it right, but I've only started trying this a couple times. So I need more practice, right? So I'm gonna keep practicing, but I'm gonna keep this bow like it is. I'm gonna try to move this up a little bit higher just by scooting it up. Okay, I think I'm gonna need to get these loops just a little bit smaller. And I gotta cut these tails down. Okay, so we have that. Next, we're going to be working with the decorative circle and the circle 2-inch circle, which is in basic white. I noticed when I was talking, it dropped off my desk on the other side. So I am going to grab my other kit, which is over here. And I'm going to grab so I don't have to go around my desk. I have another one somewhere in this kit right here. Somewhere. There we go. We have the 2-inch circle punch back if you didn't know that. And we also have a 2 3/8 inch circle punch. All right, we're going to stamp Peace on Earth. But other sentiments will work on that 2-inch circle punch. So Peace on Earth works. Also the Deck the Halls, that one will work. And Tidings of Comfort and Joy will work. You can just put some little embellishments on it. So lots of the stamps in this set work for this 2-inch circle. I'm going to be using the Misty Moonlight ink. And then I'm just gonna ink up my stamp. And then, sorry if my head's in the way. Stamp right on that 2-inch circle. And it goes kind of right to the edge, but it does fit really nicely on that 2-inch circle. Okay, so we're done that stamping. If you wanted to stamp the front of your envelope, I would suggest stamping it here, or you can just stamp the flap. So I'm going to actually stamp the flap here. So that's what it looks like on the back side of the envelope, because we're going to decorate the front side with our scraps of DSP. Now, if you're selling your cards, don't forget to stamp with an Angel Policy stamp. So I have last year's, which I really like because it's got some kind of decoration on it. So I'll just show you how I do mine. I usually use the color of ink that I'm stamping with on the front, the primary color. And I'll just stamp on the back side. This one says a one-of-a-kind creation, and it's got the copyright Stampin' Up logo on there. As long as you have that copyright Stampin' Up wording on there, then you are abiding by the Angel Policy. All right, so I'm doing that. So if I ever sell that card, and I do sell my cards, by the way. So if you don't want to make Christmas cards, I'll make them for you, but for a price, of course. I don't charge like a lot of money for my cards because I want people to send cards, right? And not go to the store and purchase cards for $6 a piece, which is absolutely nuts. Okay, the other thing we need to do is we're going to put our sentiment on top of the decorative circle. You can pop it up with dimensionals if you want. Maybe I'll do that so you can see the difference. Or no, I did add 3 to the original card. So we'll add 3. And then we'll just take this off. Adding the dimensionals really gives it a nice look because it pops it right off the paper. And here we go. So that's popped up, lifted up. I'm also going to add 3 more to the back because I don't want this sitting directly on top of that ribbon. Oops. So just take those backings off really quickly. This card here is very easy to mass produce. If you don't want the ribbon, then you can add this, just this sentiment here and your rhinestones and call it good. You just want to make sure your ribbon is straight though. Let me straighten that up a little bit. Even though it's popping up off the paper, oops, I'm out of screen, sorry. It's going to be fine. We're just going to slide that underneath the bow and then push down. And now that is stuck on there really nicely. I've got 2 more pieces here to work with. I've got my scrap that's going to go on the inside here. I forgot to just check and see if I stamped on anything on the inside, which I think I did. Oh, I put Merry Christmas. So let's do that. So I've got these all stamped, but this one's really tiny. It's on an A block, so that tells you how tiny it is. And I did use the Misty Moonlight ink on this one. So let me grab that and I'll quickly stamp Merry Christmas. Now I wish they would have actually, done the Merry in cursive, because I really like how this is in cursive writing, but the Merry, M-E-R-R-Y, is in all caps, and I think it's a little harsh. But I'm going to stamp it kind of off to the side, and there is the word Merry Christmas. Okay, so it's all caps, and you know, whatever. You can add to it. You can say happy holidays too if you wanted to. I'm just going to say Merry Christmas. And now we are done with this. And then to dress up the card, I'm going to add the DSP, a strip of it, to the inside. Now you can take tiny strips and just design it with multiple strips, or you can just take a long one. This one is 3 1/4 inches tall, and it goes all the way across, so that's 5 1/2 inches. So if it does run over the edge, mine is okay on this one, but if it runs over the edge, just take your paper snips and trim it off. Okay, so we have these 2 done, and the last thing is we're gonna make it a little sparkly with our rhinestones. Hold on, I'm gonna find them. Here they are. So I didn't bring my blends over, but you could, again, color your rhinestones with some Misty Moonlight. So I'm gonna grab one of the larger ones. There are 3 different sizes in the rhinestones. That's why I like that too. So I'm gonna put one down here in that white space, and then I'm gonna use one of these really tiny ones. So I've used a large, small, medium, and a small, and I'm creating my triangle with the rhinestones so that they're not straight across or up and down. Okay, so that's card number 1. See how it all sparkles with the rhinestones, and the trim on the ribbon here is in silver. You can splatter this with Winka Stella. And I'll show you one. Oops, I didn't do this on the envelope, but let me show you splattering technique with Winka Stella. You just got to make sure you have some Winka Stella in the barrel, which doesn't look like I have some in there. So I'm just going to squeeze that. And just take your Winka Stella, and I know there's some in there, and I'm just going to tap this around by hitting the cap of it. And then we're going to see what we got. And I know it's hard for you to see, but it is sparkly all the way around. So I would highly suggest doing that step because it all glitters anyway. We know snow sparkles if you actually get snow in your area. We actually have snow on the ground. It's melting though. So we had our first snow yesterday. So Anyway, that is card number one. You know I'm taking a while, but I'm just having fun. So, in crafting with you guys. So Peace on Earth. So I've got this too. And then just to finish up on the envelope, I have been doing this technique, and that's just taking a piece of scrap DSP and adding it to the front of the card. And I've sent out probably 100 now cards like this, and my postmaster has not rejected one. Now I wouldn't make that, and they go out at the regular postage rate. So I just add a piece of the DSP over there. I put the address, mailing address over here, and on the back side, I put my mailing address like over the flap edge there. So that's kind of what this one looks like here. All right, so pretty card, card number one. Let me know what you think of this one. Would you change it any? I'd love to know. So now I have three Peace on Earth Christmas cards ready to go out. And this time of year, I love making extra Christmas cards because I have them all ready to go. All right, so let me know what you think about this one while I get ready for card number two, which is going to be the Deck the Halls card, which is got that blueberry bushel theme. And I'm going to take a sip of my cold coffee, but I don't have a microwave in my craft room, nor do I have any room for it. I have a TV. I like to watch the news. I need background noise, so it's either a radio, I'm streaming a radio, or a podcast, or, you know, I don't know, something. I like to listen to the news. Although lately it's not been great news, but it's news. Okay, so I'm going to clean up those stamps that we just used here because I know I'm going to be using them with a different color and I don't want to contaminate my inks. Now let us know what is your favorite Christmas Stampin' Up! Christmas ink color. That would be a good one to discuss. Are you traditional or non-traditional? That's another good question. So your favorite Stampin' Up! Christmas color, and are you traditional or non-traditional Christmas card person? All right, blueberry bushel. Let me grab that one. It's the Deck the Halls. I like this one. It's so pretty with that specialty paper up there. Okay, I can't see. It doesn't look like I have any comments after the pretty card of Carla. Okay, so for this card here, the Deck the Halls, I am using the Distressed Tile 3D embossing folder. I love this one. It's one of my favorites. And it's kind of like a 3D embossing folder. Of course, it has 3D in it, the words. But let me, I don't know if you can see this or not on camera, but this is that specialty paper and I've embossed it. And see how that little foil and just the regular paper, how it really looks nice on this card. And I added a little rhinestone in the middle of that design just to showcase that paper. Okay, so we're going to get started with this one, another simple card. And we're going to be using Blueberry Bushel and Garden Green for our colors. Okay, so Carla is mainly traditional, but willing to go outside the box. I'm both. I can't decide. I don't like pinks, though. Pink is not like a favorite of mine. One year, Stampin' Up! Had pinks. I really wasn't a lover of the pinks. All right, so again, we're making a horizontal card, deck the halls. You could make it portrait if you wanted to, and that would work. All right, so let's see. This one's another easy one. I'll stamp first so that we get all the stamping done. So we'll need to do that. We'll need, and I'll stamp the flap as well of the envelopes since I didn't do that before. So we've got our blueberry bushel and our piercing mat. Grab that. On this desk, I have a shelf, so that's very helpful. Okay, deck the halls. And this is going to just get stamped on this tag here. And I think that's okay. Could have stamped it to the right a little bit more. And then on the inside, we're going to go happy holidays to you and yours. So this one, where is it? Happy holidays. I had this mounted all together, but then I ended up using it differently. So you can mount this all on one block, happy holidays to you and yours, if to save some time in stamping. But since, oh wait, I need to stamp that foliage first. It'll save some time in stamping, but since I actually used that wording on something different, I had to take that off. All right, so I'm going to stamp the foliage just over here in garden green, just one. And then I'm going to ink up the happy holidays. And I'm just going to stamp it up here. And then to you and yours. And I'm stamping this crooked. Oh my gosh, that's really bad. I will definitely change this one up. That's really bad. But anyway, you get the gist of that. What it looks like. Whoo, that's really, really horrible. Okay, so then on the flap, we're gonna stamp Deck the Halls up here. And then we will stamp, I think we've got everything we want stamped. All right, so let's close these up. Real red, Denise. I find real red the hardest ink color to use. Somehow I just get it all over my hands for some reason. Okay, I've got my blueberry bushel card base, which is again 5.5 by 8.5, and I've already scored it at 4 1/4. And these two pieces here, one's going to go down here, and then the specialty paper, which I can't remember what it's called. So let me look at my notes. It's called Snowflake Magic Specialty Designer Series paper. So that's going to go way up here. And then we're going to have a space so we can see the blueberry bushel. And then we're going to have this piece here. So let me just grab my liquid glue here. And we'll add some ink. Or ink. Add some glue. And then we'll just slide this in. And then we'll grab this piece here. Now this side looks really fantastic as well. On the reverse side, it's just white. But since we've got some sparkle and foil on this side, then I am definitely going to use that. I want to make sure we see that. So I'm just going to put this all the way around here. And then I'm going to look at the foiling because we're going to wrap ribbon around this, and I don't want that foil to be covered up. So if I was to put it this way, a lot of that foil would get covered up. So if I turn it this way, then less foil will be covered up and it will be super sparkly. So with this embossed paper, you just got to, it just takes a little bit longer to adhere to the cardstock, and you just got to make sure it's not bubbled up. That's all. Okay. The next step is to wrap the ribbon around and tie another bow. So we'll grab our ribbon. If you didn't want a really big fluffy bow, then you can just tie like a knot bow. But since I need more practice, I'm going to practice in front of you guys. I'm just making sure my ribbon is flat because we don't want it twisted on the inside. I like how our ribbon looks on the inside when you open up a card. It does sparkle real good. All right, so then I'm going to make sure I'm not using too much ribbon, so I'm going to pull this one back. And then probably that's going to be enough. I like to, how I figure it out is I take this piece over here, and if it extends over the edge, then I think I'm pretty good for my ribbon length. And then I'm just going to trim this off here. And now I'm going to try again to create the bow. I'm gonna grab that, and then since that's going that way, oh, I can't do it that way because I'm right-handed. Hopefully I cut these not too short. And my fingers are sticky. I think I almost did it. Let's see. Got my tails down. This is going to be a tiny bow. I want it actually to be tiny or smaller. It's not too bad, but this tail is too short. So I got to bring this in, this one in, there. There we go. And then I want to trim this one down because it is fraying a little bit. Okay. I'm not going to put a glue dot on there because we're going to slide that tag underneath. So now I'm going to take my Deck the Halls and the Blueberry Bushel tag, and I'm going to glue them together, but I'm going to offset center the tag so that we can see the Blueberry Bushel cardstock underneath. So to do that, I'm matching up the top piece here, but then everything else along the edges is, you can see the Blueberry Bushel. Okay, now I'm going to use some dimensionals to give this a pop, and I'll just use 3, so I'll just create a little triangle and make sure they're good and pressed down so they don't come off the paper, and remove those backings. And then we'll bring our card back in, and I'm going to slide this right underneath here. And now I'm going to take, sorry, my screen on my laptop changed. Okay, so now I'm going to take a glue dot and I'm going to secure this little bow here with a mini glue dot. And I know I brought them over here. Well, I don't see them. Oh, there they are. I'm almost out, so the roll's kind of small. Okay, so oops, darn thing came off. Okay, so I'm going to take my take your pick tool. I'm going to kind of roll this up, and then I'm going to lift up that knot and press down and then release. So now that's on there really good. The inside is, I'm not going to put it down because I'm going to restamp this, but it's going to just go in here and pretend that's nicely stamped. And that ribbon's going to be straight. And then we're going to sparkle it up with some more of the rhinestones. And I'll pull those in here. And I'm going to grab one of these big ones, and I'm going to find an area that doesn't have a lot of blue, or, you know, that doesn't have a lot of anything, so, which is right here. And then a medium one. Whoops, where'd it go? Right here. I'm going to put a medium. Let's see. I think this area still needs something, so I'm going to offset it a little bit. And then a little tiny one, I'm going to find an area up here that has one of those centers. I think I want to go over here. So here's one. Okay, so that's our card. Now our envelope, we can very easily, I've got 2 pieces of scraps. We get a larger one and we get a smaller one. And we can use both on this one, and I'll show you what to do here. So I'm going to put the kind of floral one on the bottom as the bottom piece. And we'll put it over here. I like to have a little bit of the white showing on the left side. And then to break it up, I'm going to take the opposite side and have that on the front side, right down the middle. Okay, so that is our blueberry bushel card, Deck the Halls. So here's this one and the one we made here. And then we've got this one, and we have this one here. So 3 more cards that I have that I can send to somebody. Okay, so let's see what we got here. If there's anything, well, look, I can't wait to put these together. So very sorry, I have an appointment I have to go to. Thanks for all your ideas. Have a great weekend. Okay, yep, Denise, have a good lunch with Debbie. Sorry I missed you. Okay, so yeah, give me some thumbs up and share this video. It would be awesome too. That helps me grow my YouTube channel. I am trying to get to 10,000 subscribers by the end of 2024. So I think I can do it, but I need your help to do that. Okay, so we're going to move on to card number 3. I just love the sparkle in this card, the blues and all the sparkly stuff. Okay, card number 3 is going to be the one with the berries. This one's really pretty too. Now, if you're afraid that everything is going to get swished or squished in the mailing or what have you, then save this card for somebody that you're going to give it to in person. Put a piece of cardstock. I always put a piece of cardstock when I put this in the mail. I'll put a piece of cardstock on here and then slide it in the envelope. That way this is going to be protected. Okay. All right. So we're going to need Pretty Peacock, and we need Moody Mauve. And let me just clean up my stamps real quickly. I don't like to leave ink on the photopolymer stamps, or anyone actually. Oh, I didn't stamp the back side of that card, darn it. I'll do that off camera. I still got to restamp that inside. Okay, so we need for stamps tidings of comfort and joy, and then on the inside we have to you and yours, Merry Christmas. Christmas, and then to you and yours. So we have 4 different stamps. Okay, since we got some stamping to do, we're going to stamp. Or let's see. I think I'm going to adhere some of these pieces together because this is the one that has all the foliage on it. So let's try to get rid of some of the stuff that we can before we lose it. So we have a piece of the pretty peacock, which is 5 1/8 across by 3 7/8 tall. And then I've got 2 pieces of the DSP. So what I did was this was together somehow. I think it was this way, maybe. Anyway, it was together somehow. So this was originally 5 by 3 3/4, and I just cut 1.5 inches off it. So we had opposite sides. All right, and then this one is going to go here, and it's just got a or very, very small border, like a 1/16 of an inch border. But first we're going to add a piece. I don't know if you can see or not. There, to make this all pretty peacock around, and then I had a little gap here. You can trim your paper down, or you can take, which I wanted to teach my card club people, you can take a strip of the pretty peacock, take your glue, and just run some glue over the edge here, and then line it up wherever you want it. Oops, let me get that straight. Okay, so now I have a edge that has pretty peacock on it, if that's what you would like to do. I like to do that this way because then if this piece, the DSP, is too long, I have this to cover over it, and I still have that nice pretty peacock showing. Now I've got a little bit of pretty peacock over the edge, so I'm just going to take some scissors and just trim that off. It was just a little bit, but I think it will show. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to take our larger piece of designer paper, and we're going to adhere that to the right side of the pretty peacock. And it's going to go this way. So just look at the paper and the direction of the berries. I'm going to turn it this way. And again, it's like a 1/16 of an inch border. That's close enough here. And now this piece here is going to go over top of the edge. So it allows for the border over here to happen. And also you have a border of pretty peacock here as well. Or you can just cut this down in size. I like to add the strip just in case my edge on this isn't straight, or it's maybe frayed or something, so it covers up your mistakes, basically, is what I wanted to say. Okay, and it just takes like 2 seconds to do that step. So now we've got that on. The next thing is we're going to take a piece of the ribbon, and we're going to wrap it around this piece here. And I'm going to cut this down first, and I'm going to do about like a 1/2 inch past the edges. You grab some tape. You can use your Stampin' Seal Plus, or I just like to use my tape. So I'm going to take this ribbon and put it in the middle of that seam. And then we're going to tape one side down. And then we're going to grab this and bring it over. And we're going to tape down this edge. Okay, so now we've got the ribbon on there. And I tape this or adhere this straight down to the card base itself. So let me grab my bone folder to burnish this first. Okay, we do have to stamp on the inside of the card base, and I put to you and yours Merry Christmas. So let me do that in case I make a mistake. I don't have that top already glued down. And to you and yours, let's see. So what I did with this one, okay, I had to do this a little bit different because I want to make sure I had enough space to write. So I took my scrap of DSP, which is like 3/4 of an inch by 5.5, and I actually adhered that on first. And it's edge to edge. And then I stamped the word Christmas. And then I stamped Mary. So I worked myself up. And I didn't put them all in the same like line. I kind of put them at different, like started them, the words at different spaces. Since I just remembered, I'm gonna turn that card over and add my angel policy. So we have this inside stamped good. And then we're going to take our scalp contours and we're going to stamp tidings of comfort and joy in Pretty Peacock. So let's close this one up. And remember, we're going to stamp this way over to the right side. And let me grab my silicone craft sheet and get that in here. And it's going to go way over. Because on the left side is where we're going to put our floral spray. All right. Now we're going to bring this back in. And we'll find our card base here. We're going to adhere this right straight down. You can put Stampin' dimensionals on there. It's your preference. Because we do have the ribbon on the back side. Make sure your card is facing the correct way before you add this. Now we're going to take the scallop contours. We'll add some dimensionals to the back side. I'm going to add 5, just like a normal panel itself, because this is going to get, it's the focal point and it's going to get, we don't want it to get crushed. So squish those down and then we'll take, this keeps coming off, I have to fix it. Okay, so we'll take those backings off real quick. And then slide this. This is where I changed it up. I'm going to slide this underneath so we can see the ribbon. And then I'm just making sure I have equal distance on the top here and the bottom. And to remember that that floral is going to go up in this area here. So we don't want to be too far over and we don't want to be too far to the right. So I would say just about, you know, maybe half an inch from the Pretty Peacock edge. And then we'll just set it down. Then you're going to take your sprays. You have 3 different colors. You have the Pretty Peacock, then we have Lost Lagoon, and then we have Moody Mauve. So I'm going to put the darker color down first and then work our way up. So I just take my liquid glue and I add it to the main part of the floral, and then I'm just going to do some little dots of glue throughout. And then we'll flip it over. And this is the most important piece, I think, is that you don't want to cover up the words, and you got to look and see where it's going to go. Okay, I just use my fingers. Oops, I want it down a little bit this way. I use my fingers. You can use a block as well to help it adhere. And if your block gets all sticky, then just you'll just have to clean it with, I use like 99% alcohol. Okay, so we still have that ribbon. Now that adhesive is that's on the cardstock is actually now on the ribbon, which is now sticking to the basic white. Now we'll take the Lost Lagoon, which is the next color up for the green. And it's a bluish green. We'll just add this, and we'll kind of we're going to offset it, but I want these stems kind of to line up like a bouquet would. I'm just going to go that away. Again, you can use your fingers or take a block. And then finally, we're going to finish it off with the Moody Mauve, which is the color in the berries that are on the paper. And then I'm looking at this area here because there's a lot of white. So I'm going to make sure that that Moody Mauve is going to go in this area here. And then I'm looking at the stems so that they're kind of lined up at the bottom. And then I'll take my block in and just tap it really quick. Okay, then I've already pre-made a bow with a silver and white ribbon. I do need to trim down the tails, but I don't do that until I actually get this on the card so I can kind of see what it looks like. I'm just going to add it to the bottom over the stems here. Okay, and then we're going to trim down the tails. So I like to work this way, upside down. And I'll just trim this way. And then this way. Now, if they're still too long, I'll go back and trim them again because I don't want them covering up the words, and I don't want them one longer than the other, which this one is. Let me just, wait a minute, I gotta go this way, that way. So now the inside is done, and the outside, we just need to add the embellishments. So we'll take our rhinestones. I'll use a larger one, and I'm going to look for a lot of the, whoops, it's on my finger, an area that's got a lot of white, or if there's a lot of white on here, then I would, you know, stick a larger one on, but I'm not going to add the larger one on. I'm just going to find a white area that I can put one of these on, so we'll put it there, and then a medium. I know I'm going to put one probably in this area, which is going to be the really tiny one. So maybe I should do that first so then I can see my layout. So I know I'm going to put one over here. And oh no, I can't because that's kind of like straight up and down. Do you see that? So I don't want to do that. So I can put it over here instead. So then the medium one is going to go, I'm going to put it way over here. Okay, and then the envelope, I think I already do that? I can't remember. I don't think I did, but I don't, oh, it's right here, this piece. It looks like all I did was I cut a smaller piece, which doesn't make any sense. I would not put a really tiny piece on here. So I'm going to skip this step, but I will stamp on the flap because I actually like that. It's kind of cool to do that. You can also put your DSP on the flap as well. Okay, and then we're ready to go to card number 4. All right, so here's all the cards that I have for this one. All right, so tidings of comfort and joy is all done. We won't be needing the ribbon on card number 4. That's the only card I did not create with ribbon, so I'll put that away. And I did use rhinestones for this one, lots of rhinestones. Let me grab my glue, get that all where it needs to be. And we'll grab our kit. And let's pick these up. And then here's the one that we're going to be making. I kind of didn't know about this one because it's non-traditional colors. And I didn't know if it was going to work or not because some people really like reds and greens for Christmas. This is Pebbled Path in basic black. So I think it works. Totally works. Especially it works for the hunter in your life. So that's why I made it. Okay, so this one's very easy to make, very easy to mass produce. You just have to work with the vellum. Okay, so we'll crease this down with our bone folder and burnish it. This is Pebbled Path. Again, it's 5.5 by 8.5, scored at 4 1/4. And then we have a piece of the black, basic black, which is 5 1/8 by 3 7/8. And then I've got some of the DSP, which I've got the deer on this side, and that is 5 by 3 3/4. So we'll just add this right to the front of the basic black. And this one's just going to have just a small edge. Okay. This one has dimensionals. We will add 5. All right, and then this one is going to go right on top. Okay, I need to clean up those stamps because we're reusing some of them. Christmas, so we need Christmas. We also need Mary. And we need Season's Greeting, which I haven't used yet. I think that's it. Don't want to lose anything here. Just going to straighten my desk up. Okay, so we've got our card, that, and then over here. Okay, we've got this to stamp. We're going to stamp this after, and we have this. Okay. Season's Greeting barely fits on here, but it does. And the Pebbled Path is a darker color. It's like a grayish brown color. And I have it mounted on a, if you're interested in the block, H block. And let me just bring this closer so my head, probably see it. Okay, we got Season's Greetings done. And then on the inside, we have Merry Christmas. So you got to remember that you got to stamp on the right side. So I'm going to grab Christmas and I'm going to stamp that first. And I'll stamp it way over here. And then I'm going to take Merry and I'm going to stamp it right up here. And close this up for a second. We are going to need to use this again. But since I have this here, we're going to take our DSP, the scrap, and we'll add that right to the inside panel. And I was able to get a deer there, even though it's not edge to edge. I'm going to use it because it's a beautiful image. Okay, so that is stunning, I think. Again, you could use this as a birthday card, just change out the sentiment. Thinking of you, it's kind of like an all occasion layout. Oh, where's my card? There it is. Okay. So this will go right here. You could send that if you wanted to, not have that vellum, then you could just pop up this Season's Greeting and call it good. Okay. But I'm going to add that vellum on there. So to do that, I did pop this up. So I'm going to take it and I'm going to flip it over. Make sure the rough side is on facing you. And I took dimensionals and I went to the outside first. And then I spaced them in this way. I don't know where my take your pick tool went, so I'm gonna have to peel these off. Okay, so then this is where you're gonna have to work with your images, whatever's on your paper. My deer's over here. This is gonna be easier, but you don't want these pieces going over the edge, then they're gonna get smashed in your envelope. So I'm going to need to go down a little bit. I think I'm going to be okay. I'm going all the way to the pebbled path edge. So that's okay. So I'm pretty good there. Just making sure it's straight. If it's not, I can peel this up because I don't have it like really down there yet. This sentiment's getting popped up. I'm going to just add 3. So where can you register for Card Club? It's very easy. I make it really easy. You can be part of my email list because I've already sent out 2 emails on Card Club. Or you can simply go to inspiredbygraham.com and I have it on the right side of my website, along the right side. And I think it's actually right up at the top. And you can just click on that image and then you can go right to the all the information. And then it's a PayPal link, although you can pay via credit card. Okay, so I don't know where that take your pick tool went, so I'm going to use my tweezers. Hopefully I can do this real quick. So all these little vellum, like there's these buds on here, I'm gonna fill those up with some rhinestones and make it super sparkly. Now there's some bigger ones and there's some little ones. So I'm gonna grab different sizes to add. Mostly I'm gonna choose the smaller ones because on the rhinestones, we get a lot more smaller ones than we do the medium and the large. So I'm just gonna tack these down. Now, if you wanted the vellum and you didn't want this spray, then you can take your paper snips and cut this off, or take your paper trimmer. And again, if you want, you can color these. Don't forget, the rhinestones you can color with any of our Stampin' blends. This would look really good with red, real red, or our Moody Mauve, since Moody Mauve is the color in this paper. Okay, I should have done that, but I didn't think of it until now. But I think I got all of those in there. So here's the front and here's the inside. And then the envelope is here. And I didn't have a piece of scrap for the front here with a deer. So what I did was I cut a piece of the DSP and I'm gonna run some glue around the edge of the flap here. And then we'll take this piece here and line it up with the score line. And then I use scissors that are kind of old and I don't really care about getting, you know, adhesive on them. I will clean them later. But I'm going to just trim this off. And then I'm going to stamp. So remember I said earlier, I'm still going to use that Pebble Path ink. So I'm going to take my ink and I'm going to take my Season's Greetings and I'll ink it right up. And then I'm going to stamp right on the envelope flap itself. Okay. So here is our flap, and doesn't that look good? Again, it can be a birthday greeting. And so here's the card. So we have different ones. So we have this one here, and it's basically the same one. And then this one here is the one I had to trim off because the deer is on the opposite side. So I simply trimmed off part of the vellum. I kept a little bit on the top and I kept all of this down here. Okay, so that is our last card for November Card Club. So if you missed and you're just coming on, I am offering my monthly card club. This is a class, you can watch the replay. Trying to grow my card club. I love bringing inspiration to my members every single month. We are making 4 cards and you get to make 2 of each. So go back in front, go watch the replay. I did go over last month's and what you received last month. This month I'm changing it up, and I think I'm going to really like the idea is that going forward, instead of a full bolt of ribbon, I'm going to halve it up or maybe even quarter it up depending on the pricing, and include extra cardstock so that you can create more cards and know the colors of the paper, the colors in the DSP a little bit more. So these are all the cards we're making. We'll make 8, 2 of each in November. And you get a full, rhinestones, full pack. And you get a half a pack of the white and silver ribbon. I know it's on back order right now, but it's supposed to come out the week of November 20th. So the 20th of the month is always the month everything closes down. Here's your 6x12 pack of DSP Winter Meadows, and you'll get a 6x12, 2 sheets of each, and then 8 sheets of cardstock. Okay, so there's basic black, garden green, Lost Lagoon, Misty Moonlight, Moody Mauve, Pebbled Path, Shaded Spruce, and Smoky Slate. So those are the colors that I will be including in November. So it's the first time I'm going to include extra cardstock. I'm not sure what it's going to do with the price of shipping. So if it's too heavy and it just really increases the amount of shipping, then I will have to cut back on the amount of cardstock I send. But no matter what, it's always going to include $20, at least $20 of Stampin' Up! Products. I never go under $20. It's always $20 or above. It's very hard to get to $20 evenly, so it's always usually $20 or more than 20. And then for November, we are using the Christmas Classics bundle. Some months I use a bundle, sometimes I use a stamp set, but the best part of Club is that you can use whatever you want or that you have in your craft room. That's how I make it. I make it easy enough so that you know, I would love to have you go out and buy this bundle. But I know that that you don't really have to. Only if you want to. You can add it on to your card club. So I hope you join. Go to my website, inspiredbygraham.com, and you can join there. And for some reason, I lost all the comments. So I don't know if there's questions or not. So, or if I'm even streaming anymore. I think I am. At least my phone says I am, but my laptop doesn't say I am. So, I can't tell if there's any comments. So if there are, I will try to go back and answer those once the video does process. So thank you so much for hanging in there with me and accompanying me on my first YouTube Live in the morning. So have a great weekend. It's Veterans Day today. So thank you for all your service, all the veterans out there, and all our future veterans that will protect us in the United States. All right, take care. Have a great weekend and be well.